What's up guys, welcome to the channel. Today's video I'm going to be doing a full walkthrough of my fishing kayak for 2019. I'm also going to be answering a lot of questions like how I charge my GoPro or my camera while I'm on the boat, how I built the mounting bracket for my trolling motor that I just installed on the back. A lot of those questions get sent to me every day, so I figured I'd make this video. We'll start at one end, work our way to the other end of the boat, go over every detail, answer as many questions as I can for you guys today. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to let you know why I may be getting rid of Onemo here. And she might be going to one of you guys. Stick around. Alright guys, so before we get started with the walkthrough of the kayak, I do want to let you guys know, if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you like today's video. And if you see something in this video, like the Mod Pod or the trolling motor or any add-on that I've done, and you want to know more about it, odds are I've probably got a video of me installing it on my channel. So just hop over on my channel after this video is over and you can check out the install of just about everything I'm going to go over with today. So let's start at the back of the boat and we'll work our way to the front. Alright, starting back here at the back of the boat, I've got a 30-pound thrust Minn Kota trolling motor that I built here on this channel. Attached to it is an 8-inch linear actuator. Everything's been painted black. The actuator actually comes silver. I modified everything on here so a push of a button up front by the seat and I can raise and lower the motor into the water. Also, I used my rudder control on the side to steer back and forth. And the pull cord on the side of the kayak that usually raises and lowers the rudder actually raises and lowers the trolling motor now instead of that. The trolling motor is not attached directly to my kayak. I've got it attached to this mounting plate that I've built. And it's nothing special. This is just a piece of 1/4-inch steel. And yes, you couldn't use aluminum. I didn't have aluminum. I can't even say the word. I didn't have aluminum at the time. I just had this steel, so this is what I went with. It's a 1/4-inch piece of steel, and all I did was I made me a cross bracket here, and there are no holes drilled into my kayak mounting this motor on the back. These two bolts you see right here are just mounted straight to my gear tracks. My centerpiece I do have welded, but if you wanted to build this yourself, you could use aluminum, and you could just bolt this bar here to this bar here, right here in the center. You wouldn't have to do any special welding. I like the welding, it looks really clean. I'm kind of a neat freak, and it turned out really well, so I'm happy with it. But like I said, there's no holes drilled. It is mounted directly to the gear tracks. It runs straight through here, where I've got a little spacer here, just a PVC pipe spacer. And this is the hole, this bolt right here goes through the old rudder hole that the rudder dropped in on the boat. So it worked out really well. Like I said, the steering cables, they come out of the factory slots. For now, they're just going straight up and they're attached to the trolling motor. And this is the cable here coming from the pull cord that raises and lowers the rudder. I did take and put a little piece of rubber hose there. I don't know if you can see it, but that rubber hose just protects my cable from rubbing up against the metal. I was worried that it might shave it, you know, or cut it. So I just stuffed that in there. The trolling motor cable here, I have connected to a plug that I installed here in the kayak. This plug is connected to the control center. Everything that I need to control this trolling motor, everything plugs directly into here. So I have no additional wires coming off this trolling motor or this actuator. Everything goes straight through this one wire that I built. On this side of the kayak, I have an extra spot to plug in an additional battery in the back. It was where my primary battery was going to be when I first built this. Had the battery in the back of the boat. I relocated the battery to the front of the boat, and I didn't want this plug to go to waste. So everything is tied together. So if one day I want to run the battery on the back, all I have to do is plug it up back here. If I want to run it up front, I plug it up front. It works out really well. And I'll probably be adding a solar panel in the future, and if I do, I'll probably utilize this plug here to plug up the solar panel in the back of the boat, keep the battery on the front. I don't know, we'll see. It's just an idea. Moving on up, I've got my Yak Attack. It's a Yak Attack Black Pack, but it is the tan edition. I fell in love with the color because I thought it matched really well on the Sea Ghost, so I got it. I've got the Yak Attack anchor trolley system. That's really nothing special. I think everybody who kayaks has got one of those. This guy right here, this is pretty special to me. I built this. This is how I film all of my adventures. This is the boomstick, or not the boomstick. This is a telescopic GoPro pole that I built. Actually built it here on the channel. It swivels around. It locks into a Scotty locking base, so it's not going to come out. Once you flip that little lock over, this thing's locked in place, and I can film, swivel it around, do anything I really want. But what makes this really special is, as you can see, I've got this cable twisted all the way up, and it plugs into my GoPro, which is, you're in my hand. The GoPro's in my hand right now, but it comes under the seat here. And let's see if I can show you. Right there, it plugs into a dual USB port that I installed up under the seat. It is marine. It does have the waterproof cap. It's never given me any issues at all, and it works perfectly. So I don't have to hook an additional battery pack to this pole. I don't have to have a battery pack tied into the kayak up there. I just run my cable down, plug it into the boat, and I'm good to go. All day power. Works great. Got the video on that here on my channel. Make sure you check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Back here, it's really nothing special. It's just a storage bag. If you've seen a vibe, my wiring and stuff's in there. You probably can't see, but that's where the heart of everything is. I got a bunch of wires running around. I got it all zip tied pretty neat in there though. So I've got the factory rod holders on each side that never ever get used. I don't think I've ever used either one of those rod holders. Got my tackle storage on each side. Both of these, this is what I love about the Vibe, is they're right beside me. Usually when I plan a fishing trip and I'm going out, both of these get most of the lures put in before I leave that I plan on using that day. And I rarely have to turn around and get in that unless I just can't catch anything with what I've stuck up here. Then I have to dive into my big boy back here, which is where I keep my worm bag. I don't have really any of my boxes in here right now. I got old Mr. Tackle box in here. I've always got one of those with me. But I usually don't have to dive into that because I plan my day out here and up here. So let's see, where were we? Moving on around this side, I've got the, I think these are these are Yak Attack, the paddle holders, and they just go across the front of the boat. Nothing special. I've got this gear keeper hooked to my seat with my fingernail clips, because that, man, when you're changing lures, having one right here, it works out really well. Right here I have the Mod Pod 2. Did an install video on this and a recent update video on it, so I'm not going to go over it too deep in this video, but it does have the hinge, it does have a light. This is also where I like to keep stuff that I plan to use, you know, that day. I was actually going to go out fishing yesterday and the weather got bad, so I loaded the boat for nothing. But I've got a lot of good stuff in here. Huge storage. I love this little compartment right here. And the hinge, everything works really well. Right in the middle of this is where I get to keep my cell phone. It's waterproof gasket all the way around it. Put my cell phone in there and I can get to it real quick. I don't have to put it in this big thing and worry about it sliding to the front, may have to dig for it. I've got 2 track systems here on the Mod Pod 2. It's got a spot here where you can actually mount your fish finder. I didn't want to mount mine there. I like having mine on the side of the boat. It's got the cup holder. It's got the track system on both sides of the kayak, where I have my Lowrance Hook 2 5, and I love that. Doing a review on the water of this very soon. Very soon I'm going to be taking this out and doing a full setup exactly how I like to have mine set up. So y'all stick around if you're interested for that. Beside here, on the right side of my boat, I don't have my battery hooked up right now, but this is the control for my actuator on my trolling motor. I can hit this button and it raises my motor up. I hit this button, drops my motor into the water. I freaking love it. I love having the push button raise and lower, because when you get into some really skinny water and you want to get that trolling motor and you still want to be able to use the trolling motor, I mean, you see how high I've got it right now, and you just barely stick that thing in the water and turn it on and she chook straight through, no problem. You like that sound effect? All right, so I can't pass this up for you guys. This is a remote control. This remote control runs my kayak, and yes, it is wireless. I love it. I haven't had any issues with it yet. It's been hooked up for now, I guess, if you follow the channel, you know, because I did a video when I installed it. I think I hooked it up about a month ago. It's just forward and reverse. There's no certain gears. You can slow it down as slow as you want. You can speed it up as fast as it'll go. You know, any in between. There's no clicks. It's just one smooth turn. I ordered it from wirelesstrollingpro.com. You can check them out. They have a wired version too if you wanted to run the wires. I really like the wireless because I can just carry this remote wherever. I did plan on making me a mount for it and hooking it up on this side of the boat, but we'll see. I like it kind of just wireless for now. Let's move on to the front and then we'll wrap down the other side. I've got my paddle on the side of the boat, obviously. All right, so right here is where I like to keep my hog trough. I like to do fishing tournaments, local fishing tournaments, and I hate having to turn around and get my hog trough. So what I did is I ordered the little, I guess it's the hog trough. I think I got it off ACK actually. And it comes with 2 of those, but I only use one. And it fits perfect right here on the front of the kayak. And I just literally just reach up, grab it, measure my fish, and then slide it back in just like that, no issues. Let me get it out of the way for now, and I'll show you what I've got here. Right here is my little dash panel I installed. It's got 2 USB ports on each side. One is a 2.1 amp, one is a 1 amp. In the middle, it shows my battery voltage, and on the right side, it's got a cigarette lighter port. I've never had to use that, and I may end up changing this to another one of these USB ports. I don't know. We'll see. I've never really had to use both of these at the same time either, so I don't know. I may just leave it alone like it is. We'll see. Moving on up here into the hatch. Got the bag in the front, and as you can see, I've got a little bit of carpet laid in here. It's just some strips just laid in here because I didn't want to scuff up the inside of my boat. This is the battery box that I built for this kayak. It's in a waterproof case, and it plugs into a 5-way splitter. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I've got a 5-way splitter here, and that 5-way splitter runs the whole operation of this boat. Runs to my back USB port, charges my battery on my camera, my Lowrance, this USB port here. This is the whole heart of the wiring of the kayak. Yes, there's 30 amp fuses all over the place. Everywhere that's tied into something, I have not a 30 amp, different amp fuses, but I've got fuses running to everything. No, this battery does not control the trolling motor. I have a battery box that sits in here, and it hooks into this plug here, and these connectors here connect to the battery. So what I do is I plug this plug here to my 5-way, I hook this to my battery, and I drop it in the front. And I don't even have to really take this if I don't want to. I can leave this battery at home if I'm taking my big battery with me to run the trolling motor, and it's just less weight if I just put the big one up here. But once I hook the big one up here, it sits nice and tight down on top of the carpet. I can put my bag back in, shut my hatch, and everything runs off the big battery. So it works out really good. I love the versatility of me being able to take out my little battery if I'm not going to be running the trolling motor. Moving on to the front, I've got a small GoPro mount right here. This is really not where I do any recording of myself. I usually just have one of my older GoPros hooked to the front, aimed forward, so I can just get some cool stuff. Especially if I'm going down a creek, I like getting cool shots of the creek. Let's see, coming down this side of the boat, this is my newest install. This is the Bigsby hand control. Just done a video on it last week. It worked out really good. This is designed to go with a Bigsby motor, and it turns my trolling motor. And for you guys who are veterans on my channel, you know that I was so upset because of that clicking. But Bigsby actually contacted me. They watched my video and they contacted me, and they was like, you know, if you just push down on that spring and turn it, it doesn't make this. I didn't like that. But they was like, yeah, you just got to push down on it, man. So you hear how it goes away. So I was happy to find out that, you know, I just pushed down on it. So it works out really good, and it does everything I need it to do. Everything has been installed. I try to do everything as clean as possible. You see the hoses, they go right in there. Deck pad, I did put a Vibe deck pad kit in this. It's a little dirty right now, but it's got the full deck pad kit from the front to the back, even under the seats. Let me slide this back in. The transducer is mounted. If you're not familiar with a vibe, forgot to show you there. But my transducer and my power, they come straight out of the back of the Lowrance. They go into this Hobie waterproof plug that go in and hook to everything. Well, the transducer comes back out through this Hobie plug and goes straight down this little. This is not a scupper hole. This is a transducer hole. And you're not going to be able to see down in there. But what's really cool about these Vibes is they have a recessed pocket for your transducer with a cover plate. So there's nothing sticking up. And I don't know if I'll be able to show you guys, if you'll even be able to see, but I'll try. There is a plate up under. There it is. It's probably too dark for you to see. There's a flush mount plate just for the transducer, and it's awesome. That's one of my favorite things about the Vibe kayak, is them adding that flush mount plate. I don't have to have my transducer hanging off the side of my kayak. Well guys, that is my fishing kayak setup for 2019. I hope I was able to answer any of the questions that you guys sent me. If you have more questions, or if I didn't go over something deep enough in this video for you guys, just hit me up in the comments, shoot me an email, DM me on Instagram, and I'll get with you. I'll try to get with everybody as soon as they send me messages, and I'll answer any questions that you have. Now for the juicy part of this video. I'm thinking about getting rid of old Nemo here, and I'll tell you why. You guys that know me know that I have a passion for kayak fishing, I have a passion for camping, and I love the outdoors. But I also have a big passion for doing these DIY projects, filming them, putting them on YouTube for you guys to watch. And I just really love restoring something. I love taking something from one state and modifying it and fixing it up and just making it, perfect. I love doing that. And some examples here is I bought this 66 C10 a few years ago, and I wrote a bunch of stuff down. I wanted to find a C10. I looked around everywhere. I found me one. I restored it from the bottom up. I pulled it off the frame. Anyway, I completely remodeled it. I loved it. I fell in love with it. Here's some bass boats that I did some work on. I bought them when they were just about gone. People were ready to take these things to the dump, and I restored them and fixed them up, re-gel coat, carpet, and got rid of them. Well, these past few years, I really fell in love with doing this with the kayak. And as you guys see these videos, I like taking this kayak from from just a fresh slate and adding everything to it. Well, my point is, I'm about maxed out on my Vibe here. And I do love the Vibe. It's got all these cool things now, the wireless remote control for the trolling motor, the Bixby steering, the deck mat, the battery. Everything about this boat is perfect. But I can't really add anything else besides maybe some lights. There may be one or two other things that I can add to this and make my DIY videos for you guys. But this is what I want to do. I am looking for a Hobie PA 14 or a Hobie PA 12. Those are the two kayaks that I'm interested in. And this is what I want to throw out there. If you have a Hobie PA 14 or a 12, or you know somebody that has one, and it's just plain Jane, I don't want one that's had any modifications done to it. I want one just as it comes from Hobie. The only thing I want to get when I get this Hobie PA is the kayak and, of course, the Mirage Drive. I've got to have the Mirage Drive for it. But other than that, I don't want any add-ons, any modifications. I want a plain Jane boat. I'm looking to trade someone this Vibe Seaghost 130 as it is, with the kayak trolling motor, with the remote control steering, with the battery box, with everything except for my Lowrance here. I want to keep my Lowrance for my next boat so I don't have to repurchase one of these. But I'm looking to trade my kayak setup for a Hobie PA 12 or PA 14. So if you've got one and you're interested, hit me up in the comments, send me an email, DM me on Instagram. Just get with me and maybe we can work something out. This is a great boat, but the only reason I'm really wanting to do this is because my dad has one, and I've really been wanting to get my hands on one and just do all these modifications, fix it up, and I can't afford to go buy one. I can't have two kayaks. I've got two kids, one's going to college, and can't do that right now. So what I'm going to do, I think it's a good offer. I know the Hobies cost more than the Vibe. You can get this Vibe for $1,100, but it's plain Jane. Once you go through and you add everything that I've done to this boat, the trolling motor, I've been really picky about everything, the Mod Pod modifications. I've got a lot more in it, and I think it's equal value of a good Hobie PA 12, PA 14. I'm not looking for a 2019. I'm looking for a 2016 up, because I think 2015 had the bad seats in them, or not the bad seats, but they upgraded in 2016. So I'm looking for a 2016 and up Hobie PA 12 or 14, either or. I really don't have a preference in color. It's not about that. I just really want to continue making these DIY videos for you guys on my channel, and I would love to start over with something fresh. You know, just a fresh build where I can do what I want to this next kayak and make these videos and get input from you guys. And you know, I love getting the emails and the input. Hey man, you should try this. You should try this, because I use all of that. You know, I take all of your guys' advice. You know, and I get to put it with mine, and we come up with these really awesome boats and these really cool builds. So anyway, I'm going to quit blabbering. If you've got one and you want to hit me up, just let me know. Message me. You can hit me up in the comments. Send me an email. And yeah, I'm looking forward. Until I get rid of it, I do still plan on hooking this boat up. I'm going to be doing more modifications on it if I don't, you know, if I don't get any takers on the Hobie PA situation. I'm still going to be doing things to this, but as for right now, we've got a big we got a big trip planned at the end of this month. We're going to Tennessee, and we're going to be staying at Watauga Dam Campground up in the mountains. I'm taking Nemo here with me up there. We're going to be doing some, they say there's trout up there. I've never caught trout, so I'm going to try to catch some trout. And hopefully the weather's good and I get some good footage up there for you with it. So yeah, that's it. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, make sure you go check out all my other videos. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.